Namaskrityam naram cheva narottamam devam saraswatim vyasam tato jayamudiraye. Before reciting the Srimad Bhagavatam, which is the very means of conquest, one should offer respectful obeisances unto the personality of Godhead. Right. The supermost human being, unto Mother Saraswati, the goddess of learning, and unto Srila Vyasadeva, the author. Nashta prayeshu abhadreshu nityam bhagavata sevaya bhagavati uttama shloke bhaktir bhavati naishtiki. By regular attendance in classes on the Bhagavatam and by rendering of service to the pure devotee, all that is troublesome to the heart is almost completely destroyed, and loving service unto the personality of Godhead, who is praised with transcendental songs, is established as an irrevocable fact. Om Jnana Timirandasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Guruve Namah. I was born in the darkest of ignorance, and my spiritual master opened my eyes with the torchlight of knowledge. I offer my respectful obeisances unto him. Okay, so today we'll be reading Canto 8, Chapter 3, entitled Gajendra's Prayers of Surrender. And we'll be reading from text 7, right? 8 to 16, right? Yes. Okay. So let's start. Oh. Okay, and then in this a little bit of context in this chapter. So right now, Gajendra has been attacked by the crocodile, and now he's offering all these prayers that he remembered in a previous life as King Indradyumna to the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Yeah, we're gonna just go over those prayers.
Texts 8 and 9. The Supreme Personality of Godhead has no material birth, activities, name, form, qualities, or faults. To fulfill the purpose for which this material world is created and destroyed, he comes in the form of a human being like Lord Ram or Lord Krishna by his original internal potencies. He has immense potencies and in various forms, all free from material contamination. He acts wonderfully. He is therefore the Supreme Brahman. I offer my respects to him.
I offer my respectful obeisances unto the Supreme Personality of Godhead, the self-effulgent Super Soul, who is the witness individual soul and who cannot be reached by exercises of the mind, words, or consciousness.
The Supreme Personality of Godhead is realized by pure devotees who act in the transcendental existence of Bhakti Yoga. He is the bestower of uncontaminated happiness and is the master of the transcendental world. Therefore, I offer my respect unto him.
I offer my respectful obeisances to Lord Vasudeva, who is also good. To the Lord's fierce form as Lord Vishnudev, to the Lord's form as an animal, Lord Varahadev, to Lord Dattatreya, who preached impersonalism, to Lord Buddha and all other incarnations. I offer my respectful obeisances unto the Lord, who has no material qualities, but who accepts the three qualities, goodness, passion, and ignorance, within this material world. I also offer my respectful obeisances unto the impersonal Brahman effulgence.
I'm back to offer my respectful obeisances unto you, who are the Super Soul, superintendent of everything and the witness of all that occurs. You are the supreme person, the origin of material nature and of total material energy. You are also the owner of material body, therefore you are supreme complete. I offer my respectful obeisances unto you.
My Lord, you are the observer of all the objectives of the senses. Without your mercy, there is no possibility of solving the problem of doubts. The material world is just like a shadow resembling you. Indeed, one accepts this material world as real because it gives a glimpse of your existence.
Text. My Lord, you are the cause of all causes, but you yourself have no cause. Therefore, you are the wonderful cause of everything. I offer my respectful obeisances unto you, who are the shelter of the Vedic knowledge contained in the Shastras like the Pancharatras and Nitanta Sutra, which are your representations, and you are the source of the Parampara system. Because it is you who can give liberation. You are the only shelter for all transcendentalists. Let me offer my respectful obeisances unto you.
Text 16. My Lord, as the fire in Adani wood is covered, you and your unlimited knowledge are covered by the material modes of nature. Your mind, however, is not attentive to the activities of the modes of nature. Those who are advanced in spiritual knowledge are not subject to the regulative principle directed in the Vedic literatures. Because such advanced souls are transcendental and personally appear in their pure minds, therefore I offer my respectful obeisances unto you.
Okay, then we'll go to text 11. Satvena pratilabhyaya Nashkamyena vipaschita Nama kevalya nataya Nirvana sukha samvide Satvena pratilabhyaya Nashkamenya vipaschita Nama kevalya nataya Nirvana sukha samvide Satvena pratilabhyaya Nashkamyena vipaschita Nama kevalya nataya Nirvana sukha samvide
Satvena pratilabhyaya
Satvena pratilabhyaya Nashkarmyena vipaschita
Nama Kevalya Nathaya
Nama kevalya nataya Nirvana sukha samvide Satvena pratilabhyaya
Nashkarmyena vipaschita
Nashkarmyena vipaschita
Nama Kaivalya Nathaya
Nama kevalya nataya
Nirvana sukha samvide
Nirvana sukha samvide
Satvena pratilabhyaya
Satvena pratilabhyaya
Nashkarmyena vipaschita
Nashkamyena vipaschita
Nama Kevalya Nathaya
Nama kevalya nataya
Nirvana sukha samvide
Nirvana sukha samvide
Satvena pratilabhyaya
Satvena pratilabhyaya
Nishkarmena vipaschita
Naishkarmyena vipaschita
Nama Kevalya Nathaya
Nama kevalya nataya
Nirvana Sukha Samvide
Nirvana Sukha Samvide.
Sattvena pratilabhyaya.
Satvena Pratilabhyaya.
Nishkarmena vipashyata.
Naishkarmyena Vipashyata.
Nama kevalyanathaya.
Nama Kevalyanataya.
Nirvana sukha samvide.
Nirvana Sukha Samvide. Okay. Then word-to-word translation. Please repeat after me. Satvena. By pure devotional service. Pratilabhyaya. Onto the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Who is achieved by such devotional activities. Naishkamyena. By transcendental activities. Vipashyata. By persons who are sufficiently learned. Namaha. I offer my respectful obeisances. Kevalya Nataya. Unto the Master of the transcendental world. Nirvana. For one completely freed from material activities. Sukha. Of happiness. Samvide. Who is the bestower. Okay. Translation and purport by His Divine Grace, A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada. Jai. Okay. The Supreme Personality of Godhead is realized by pure devotees who act in the transcendental existence of Bhakti Yoga. He is the bestower of uncontaminated happiness and is the master of the transcendental world. Therefore, I offer my respect unto Him. Purport. As stated in Bhagavad Gita, the Supreme Personality of Godhead can be understood only by devotional service. Bhaktyanam abhijannati yavanyaschasmi tattvata. If one wants to know the Supreme Personality of Godhead in truth, one must take to the activities of devotional service. These activities are called sattva or shuddha sattva. In the material world, activities of goodness, which are symptomatic of a pure brahmana, are appreciated. But the activities of devotional service are shuddha sattva. In other words, they are on the transcendental platform. Only by devotional service can one understand the Supreme. Devotional service is called nashkarmya. Mere negation of material activity will not endure. Nashkamyan api achutya bhava varjitam. Unless one performs activities with reference to Krishna consciousness, cessation of material activities will not be helpful. In hopes of achieving Naishkarmya, freedom from material action, many highly elevated sannyasis stopped their activities, yet they failed and returned to the material platform to act as materialistic persons. But once one is engaged in the spiritual activities of Bhakti Yoga, one does not fall down. Our Krishna consciousness movement is therefore an attempt to engage everyone always in spiritual activity, by which one becomes transcendental to material actions. The spiritual activities of Bhakti Marga, Shravanam, Kirtanam, Vishnu, Smaranam, Para, Sevanam, lead one to understand the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Therefore, as stated here, Satvena Pratilabhyaya Narshkamyena Vipashyata, the Supreme Personality of Godhead is realized by pure devotees who act in the transcendental existence of Bhakti Yoga. The Gopala Tapani Upanishad says, Bhaktir asya bhajanam tar ehat mutropadi nairas yeneva musmim manasakalpanam etar evacha naishkarmyam. This is a definition of Naishkarmya. One acts in Naishkarmya when he fully engages in Krishna conscious activities without material desires to enjoy, either here or in the upper planetary systems, in the present life or in the future life. Eha amrita. Anya bilashtita shunyam. When one is freed from all contamination and he acts in devotional service under the direction of the spiritual master, one is on the platform of Naishkarma. By such transcendental devotional service, the Lord is served. I offer my respectful obeisances unto Him. Okay. Okay, so what I took away from this verse is about just like the importance of Bhakti Yoga. And let's start by defining what that is. Who knows what Bhakti Yoga is?
It's the yoga of love.
Mhm. Anyone else?
Union with the Supreme Personality of Godhead through
Mhm.
devotional services.
Yes. Bhakti is devotional service to the Supreme Lord, and Bhakti Yoga is linking with the Supreme Lord through devotional service. So we see here how important Bhakti Yoga is, because it just helps us keep connected to Krishna. It doesn't make us fall down. Even if we want to do, if we want like materialistic things and we're still doing devotional service, we'll still get those materialistic things, but that's like an afterthought at that point. It's like when we're doing it, then we realize just how important devotional service is to Krishna. It's like, oh yeah, I wanted a car, but now I have Krishna, so it's like I don't care about the car so much. And yeah. I was reading another portrait that is in Canto 2. If maybe we can pull it up. It's 2.3.10 of Srimad Bhagavatam. And this goes more into Bhakti Yoga and the importance of desires and being desireless, things like that. Yeah. Okay. Anyone would like to read? Yes, you, Himanshu.
A person who has broader intelligence, whether he be full of all material desire, without any material desire or desiring liberation, must by all means worship the Supreme Hope, the personality of God.
Yes. So even here, it talks about how important devotional service is. Even if you have material desires or if you want to merge with the Brahma Jyoti, if you engage in devotional service, you'll get all of that. But the important thing is to just do devotional service. So there's we always say we're part and parcel to Krishna, and it is our duty to serve Krishna. Just like our limbs are part and parcel to us. They serve us. My hand doesn't want to walk to a certain place. It's not going to come off and go to point B or whatever. Its purpose is to put food in my mouth, to grab things, to write things down, things like that. And my legs, they carry me from point A to point B. So since we are parts and parcels of Krishna, it is our duty to serve him. Yes. Yeah. And then another point was about happiness. True happiness is serving Krishna, through devotional service. And in the material world, we can achieve just only a fraction of that happiness through materialistic ways, through through the economy, through things like that, or through serving others. But it's that glimmer of true happiness that we'll feel serving Krishna. And yeah, I didn't prepare very well for this class, so pardon me. Yes.
Yeah, so you said even if you have all desires, all material desires, even if you want to merge in Brahman effulgence,
Mm-hmm.
or even if you want your devotional service, you should not stop your devotional service, right?
Mm-hmm.
Keep on doing it. What if sometimes you feel like not doing it? Sometimes you feel like, I don't want to do this. Then what should we do then?
I said I would just say keep doing it. Do it until maybe do something different. Still do devotional service. If you are still inclined to do that, but try doing something else perhaps. But we shouldn't stop doing devotional service, even if it's something materialistic, if you're working or if you want something material. If we still keep in mind that I want to do this for Krishna, then we'll get that material thing, but it won't be like the end result. Like we'll still receive that benefit of doing something for Krishna, you know? Yeah.
Like Prabhupada mentioned also that about whether you want to merge with Brahman effulgence, you know. Well, this is the benefit of being in Krishna consciousness, that when you want to merge with Brahman effulgence, means you have to kind of concentrate on nothing in life. It's like you don't know which is your, which way to go, what's your direction. It's just like, you know, everything is void. The same goes with yogis as well. You have to be in a specific posture and your mind has to be concentrated. But Bhakti Yoga whereas gives us a lot of opportunities. If you don't feel like chanting, you can go and have darshan. And if you don't feel like having darshan today, you can sing bhajan and you can sing kirtan, you can listen to kirtan. If you don't feel like listening to anything, you can read a lot of scriptures, pastimes. Everything is full of nectar. You can dance, you can honor prasadam. So we can never be tired of devotional services if we are in Krishna consciousness. There are a lot of opportunities in different places.
Thank you so much for that. Helps.
Yeah. And then here also in the portrait, it says, therefore, one who desires to merge into the supreme impersonal Brahma Jyoti must also worship the Lord by Bhakti Yoga, as recommended here in the Srimad Bhagavatam. Bhakti Yoga is especially stressed here as the means of all perfection. In the previous chapters, it has been stated that Bhakti Yoga is the ultimate goal of both Karma Yoga and Jnana Yoga. And in the same way, in this chapter, it is declared that Bhakti Yoga is the ultimate goal of the different varieties of worship by the different demigods. Bhakti Yoga, thus being the supreme means of self-realization, is recommended here. Everyone must therefore take seriously take up the methods of Bhakti Yoga, even though one aspires for material enjoyment or liberation from material bondage. So we must always do that, even if you want to merge with the effulgence, like still do Bhakti Yoga, because it can help us just become self-realized, and then perhaps make us realize, oh, I don't want to merge with effulgence. Like that sounds not great. Where serving Krishna sounds amazing. Yeah. Okay.
Yes, Rohit.
So, you were asking about sometimes you don't feel like doing things. Me and my friend, we were discussing it yesterday. We were discussing the verse of Bhagavad Gita where Krishna says that, you know, cut this ignorance with the sword of intelligence, with the sword of knowledge. So, me and my friend, we started our 16 rounds. Not almost at the same time, but yeah, we were doing it at the same time. So, but later on, I used to tell him, read Srila Prabhupada books, read, listen to his lectures. But he never did. He just, 16 rounds. But later when he got his job, it was a night shift, then of course that 16 rounds went to 8, then it went to 4. Then we were discussing this verse that if you would have had knowledge, okay, we have this verse, Vacho Vegam, Manasa Krodh Vegam. Sometimes we have Bhakti Vegam. Sometimes we're like, oh Krishna. Sometimes we have this emotional, and it will stay for 1 month, it will stay for 2 months, it will stay for 4 months, it will stay for 6 months. But how long? Sometimes you will not feel it. Like, okay. Then when this knowledge comes, then when Srila Prabhupada books kick in. Sometimes I don't feel, we don't feel like chanting. But why we are still chanting? We heard Srila Prabhupada chant. We are not, I am not a pure devotee, so sometimes it's not, my mind is going somewhere else, but we are still sitting. Why? Intelligence. We are cutting our mind through intelligence again and again. So that's why it's important to read Srila Prabhupada books, and these are the times when these books, these lectures comes, cut our mind through these lectures and what we read.
Yes, that's right. It's very nice.
Few months back when Brihad Prabhu was here, at that time we had BYS and he was going for Sankirtan. And at that day I wasn't feeling very good. I wasn't feeling like going to BYS at that time. So I asked him this question. I asked him sometimes you don't feel like doing stuff. Like I don't feel like going to Viva yesterday. I don't feel like singing. Then he said, that's pretty normal, but what you can do is just maybe take some time out. So at that time it was 5:30. We were supposed to leave in like next 15 minutes. So that was not an option. And then he said, or you can talk to your mentor and then talk to them and just talk to them. And you don't have to talk about like spiritual stuff. You can talk about your life. Like the reason that we have Shiksha Gurus is not just because you have to ask them spiritual questions all the time. They are there to like guide us in our life. Like Prabhupada told me once that like sometimes when she talks to her mentor, it's all just about casual things in life that she needs help with, and there's not even one single question that connects with like spiritual stuff sometimes. But because you need help in life, right? So talk to your mentors, and if that is not an option either, then just maybe read a book, like he said. So you have 3 options.
Yeah. I remember Prabhupada saying that if you sometimes we see people like pure devotee syndrome, like they will go and run through DT and they'll be like, oh Krishna, you're my Krishna, Krishna. So that is like a sentimental type of bhakti. That is not even bhakti, but it's a sentiment. And that will eventually come down because there's no backup of philosophy or there's no backup of knowledge. So Prabhupada used to say this line. I forgot the whole line, but he said, devotional service without knowledge of philosophy is sentiment, and there's something like that. It has like you have to have both the things. You cannot go without knowledge of philosophy. That's the point. Yes. And what you said that we can take these options, and I've heard it somewhere that you not wanting to do this devotional service, you're not feeling motivated, is Maya kicking in. And sometimes it's also our conditioning, and sometimes it's Maya. So you have to deal it in a right way. And it's okay to feel that way because we are not perfect and we are not pure devotees yet.
Yeah, I asked the same question to one of my mentors also. Like sometimes I feel like I want to do everything, and sometimes I feel like I don't want to do anything. Like, what's wrong with me? Like, this is not how devotional service should work. Like, and then he said, like that's normal because we are at a conditional stage. Like we're just starting our bhakti, and at the level that we are, it's normal. So don't overthink on it, just keep on doing your own thing. Like if you feel like doing something, like chanting, then chant. If you don't feel like, still chant. Yeah.
Again.
What?
Anything else you can discuss about?
I mean, I really like this portrait of.
You want to read it?
Yeah.
Sure.
Because it talks more about like the spirit that one should have, or like a kama spirit and then like kama spirit. It's very good.
I think Himanshu has a point. Maybe
Oh,
we
yeah.
can add.
Yes.
Like before coming here, I used to do 16 rounds, but not continuously, like not in the Brahma Murta or like not in the morning. But after coming here, like we used to do like at least 8 rounds in the morning as we have 1 hour. Or like 10 rounds at least we do in one sitting. That is a good thing, I think so. And even though sometimes we don't feel to chant. So yesterday also, like I have written in my sadhana chart, I will do 16 or whatever, and my 4 rounds were missing. And then I asked Vatsal Prabhu so that he can chant. Firstly he said, no, I am completed with rounds. And then I said, he's Mala, he completed. And then he said, okay, we'll do it together. So like in Bhakti Academy, we are so fortunate, like we have association of devotees, like even if someone is free, we can just go with them. And once I was also doing nothing to do, and when I went to home, he was also reading Mahabharata, so at that time I also started it. Like it's good, like at least someone is doing something. It encourages us. It gives us motivation.
Yes. Power of association.
Power of association. That's nice.
Okay.
Yes, you can read.
Okay. Okay, you can read.
The Supreme Personality of Godhead, Lord Krishna, is described in Bhagavad Gita as Purushottama, or the Supreme Personality. It is He only who can award liberation to the impersonalist by absorbing such aspirants in Brahmajyoti, the bodily rays of the Lord. The Brahmajyoti is not separate from the Lord, as a glowing sun rays is not independent of the sun disk. Therefore, one who desires to merge into the Supreme Impersonal Brahmajyoti must also worship the Lord by Bhakti Yoga, as recommended here in Srimad Bhagavatam. Bhakti Yoga is especially stressed there as a means of all perfection. In the previous chapters, it has been stated that Bhakti Yoga is the ultimate goal of both Karma Yoga and Jnana Yoga. And in the same way, in this chapter, it is emphatically declared that Bhakti Yoga is the ultimate goal of different varieties of worship in different demigods. So, can you stop looking at me like that? Sorry. Bhakti Yoga, thus being the supreme means of self-realization, is recommended here. Everyone must therefore seriously take up the method of Bhakti Yoga, even though one aspires for material enjoyment or liberation from material bondage.
Rohan.
Akama is one who has no material desire. A living being naturally being the part and parcel of the Supreme Whole, Purusham Purna, has as his natural function to serve the Supreme Being. Just as the parts and parcel of the body or the limbs of the body are naturally meant to serve the complete body, desireless means therefore not to be inert like a stone, but to be conscious of one's actual position and thus desire satisfaction only for the Supreme Lord. Srila Jiva Goswami has explained this desirelessness as Ajaniya Parama Purusha Sukha Matra Swa Sukhatva in his Sandarbha. This means that one should feel happy only by experiencing the happiness of the Supreme Lord. This intuition of the living beings is sometimes manifested even during the conditioned stage of the living being in the material world, and such intuition is expressed in the manner of altruism, philanthropy, socialism, communism, etc. by the undeveloped minds of less intelligent persons. In the mundane field, such an outlook of doing good to others in the form of society, community, family, country, or humanity is a partial manifestation of the same original feeling in which a pure living entity feels happiness by the happiness of the Supreme Lord. Such superb feelings were exhibited by the lasses of Brajbhumi for the happiness of the Lord. The gopis loved the Lord without any return, and this is the perfect exhibition of the Akama spirit. Kama spirit, or the desire for one's own satisfaction, is fully exhibited in the material world, whereas the spirit of Akama is fully exhibited in the spiritual world. Thoughts of becoming one with the Lord, or
Anyone else?
Thoughts of becoming
One with the Lord.
Thoughts of becoming one with the Lord or being merged in the Brahmajyoti can also be exhibitions of Kama spirit if they are desires for one's own satisfaction to be free from the material miseries. A pure devotee does not want liberation so that he may be relieved from the misery of life. Even without so-called liberation, a pure devotee is aspirant for the satisfaction of the Lord. Influenced by the Kama spirit, Arjuna declined to fight in the Kurukshetra battlefield because he wanted to save his relatives for his own satisfaction. But being a pure devotee, he agreed to fight on the instruction of the Lord because he came to his senses and realized that satisfaction of the Lord at the cost of his own satisfaction was his prime duty. Thus he became a Kama. That is the perfect stage of a perfect living being.
Debbie?
Udara Dihi means one who has a broader outlook. People with desires for material enjoyment worship small demigods, and such intelligence is condemned in the Bhagavad Gita 7.20 as Hrita Yana, the intelligence of one who has lost his senses. One cannot obtain any result from demigods without getting sanction from the Supreme Lord. Therefore, a person with a broader outlook can see that the ultimate authority is the Lord, even for material benefits. Under the circumstances, one with a broader outlook, even with the desire for material enjoyment or liberation, could you scroll up the screen for me? Thank you. Should take to the worship of the Lord directly. And everyone, whether an akama or a sakama or a mokshakama, should worship the Lord with great expedience. This implies that bhakti yoga may be perfectly administered without any mixture of karma and jnana, as the unmixed sun ray is very forceful and is therefore called Tivra. Similarly, unmixed bhakti yoga of hearing, chanting, etc. may be performed by one and all, regardless of inner motive.
I like the part about the demigods. Like, it is pointless to worship them, because even if you do, you have to go to like specific demigods to ask for like specific things. Oh, I want rain, I have to go to Indra. I want this, I have to go to that demigod. I want this, I have to go to that demigod. Whereas when we just worship Krishna, he'll give us everything. So worship Krishna. Okay.
Yes, I think Amala you had a question. Yes,
so we see, like here, Lord is mentioned as the supreme authority, and the demigods are like further servants of the Lord. But we also see it's like we have to be servant of the servant. So why don't we worship demigods?
What's your motive behind serving? Yeah, you are serving a servant with no material desire, right? But when you serve a demigod with material desire, that's where we go wrong. So we need to make sure our motive is clean and clear. And with that, if you serve Durga Devi, for sure, because in Mahabharata, just right before fighting the battle, Krishna asked Arjun to bow down to Durga Devi first, to take her blessings, and then fight the battle. The purpose was selfless, the purpose was to fulfill Krishna's purpose, Krishna's transcendental law. So if you do with that purpose, then there shouldn't be a problem.
This we read every day, right? By regular attendance in the class of Bhagavatam and service to the pure devotee, all their struggles into the heart is almost completely destroyed, and loving service into the personality of God is established. So the word pure devotee is very significant there. But so you have to worship, like be a servant of a pure devotee.
But in that case, Lord Shiva is a pure devotee. Durga Ma, she's also worshipping 24/7.
Yes, we are. We are not saying that we are not servant of them, but if you want pure devotional service, then you have to worship them in that mode. And yes, if you worship them in that mode, it's fine. If you're asking for pure devotion, not material desires. Yes, as Guru said, the intention behind that matters.
Could I also mention that the demigods are parts and parcel of the Lord, so when you're worshiping the Lord, you're already worshiping the demigods. So why do you take the extra step? Just worship the Lord, every single demigod is worship.
In that way, why don't we just directly go to Krishna? Why do we have to go from devotees?
Because the Lord likes it when we worship His devotees. But none of that matters.
The first, your motive, your purpose kind of clears everything.
Thanks, that works. You have something to say to that?
Like we also go to Prabhupada. He is also the servant of God. So I think so we should go to the pure devotees so that they can give us the essence of Bhakti Yoga. So that we can enhance our life, our spiritual life. I think so.
Yeah. Thanks. That helps. Thanks, Rose.
Could we also add that the demigods are also influenced by the three modes of material natures? That's why, as Prabhu said, it's a pure devotee, so they have to be part of the district succession. They're in the transcendence level, so they're not influenced by the three modes. Those are the ones that we should worship, or mercy to go back to the Lord, because Shiva is also in the mode of ignorance. So we don't want to also be in that mode. Yeah, Shiva. He's in the mode of ignorance, and Brahma is in the mode of
ignorance.
Okay, we can ease that discussion for some other time. I will not discuss that now.
He's in charge of it.
Yes, I know.
So I had a question with that. It is said that the one who wants to merge in Brahman presence, they are actually full of, like they are basically selfish. It's not saying like that, but they are selfish. Like they're doing it for getting free from material diseases, right? So how can we understand that? They also want to achieve the Lord in different forms. So how is that justified?
What is your question?
Yes, so I think so.
They want to achieve the Lord, they want to love the Lord. So the difference comes there. And even though they are selfish because for their satisfaction, just to have that peace of mind, they want to be there, but they don't know their real personality, which is that we are part and parcel. And if I say that someone is my father and I have a relationship with them, first I need to make sure that I am their son. When I am clear of my relationship with them, then only I can love them, right? That's where I will have a bond with them. But unless you don't know your relationship with the Supreme Lord, then you cannot establish love for them. You'll remain selfish. So that's how it goes.
I also think that motive is to just end this misery. They don't have anything to do with the Supreme Lord, but they're using the Lord as a means to get out of this material world.
Yeah.
That is their goal.
Yeah, it's
They
like
then fall down after some time.
Yeah, that's their own. And also it is mentioned that a pure devotee does not want liberation. But we have heard it many times that, we want to get out of this material world, we want to get out of this material world. So, what is that? Isn't that contradictory?
There are different types of liberation. Going into Brahmajyoti is also a type of liberation. Like there are 5 types of mokshas, right?
Yes.
So depends upon which kind of liberation you're aiming at. So if you go to Brahmajyoti, you'll be relieved from miseries of life. So devotees don't want that kind of liberation. But if you go to Golok, Vrindavan, or Vaikunthan planets, that kind of liberation devotees want.
And why?
Because Krishna is there.
That's the point. Yeah, I get is that the devotee, they want to serve the Lord, that's why they want liberation. These are different types of liberation, Swarupya, Sarupya, Shrishti, Samipya and Samipya.
So Sarupya is Vaikuntha.
Indeed, residents of Vaikuntha, Sarupya, Shrishti, unattained meditation requires same opulence as the Lord and lives in different planets. Swarupya, the same form as the Lord, Puram. And Samipya integration, when becomes personal associate with the Lord, like Arjuna. And Sanyusya, this is merging in Brahma presence.
So devotees want Samipya.
No, actually, they don't want liberation, that is mentioned. So the whole point.
No, they said they don't want liberation to get out of material misery.
Pure, this says that in liberation.
Yeah, so
even without so-called liberation of pure devotee has to be for satisfaction of the Lord.
So there are 2 aspects of it. One is like at this stage, so there's another kind of that we can explain this is like a pure devotee does not want anything by himself. So pure devotee would want everything that Krishna wants. So if Krishna is saying that, if Krishna said to Prabhupada that go and bring back the fallen souls, then Prabhupada wasn't like, oh, why should I go? Like that is a place of miseries. Like I am already liberated. Why should I? So Prabhupada wanted to serve Krishna. So even if that's in hell or earth or heavenly planets.
Yeah, so the whole point is that a devotee only wants devotional service to the Lord. Nothing else. This verse from Chaitanya Charitamrita, Najanam Najanam Nasundarim Kavitam Vajrabish Kamye Mama Janmani Janmani Bhavtat Bhakti Ahidukhi Tvai. Translation.
O Lord of the universe,
louder, louder. If you want to read it loud, Prabhu. Yes, please.
O Lord of the universe, I do not desire material wealth, materialistic followers, a beautiful wife, or fruitive activities described by flowery language. All I want life after life is unmotivated devotional service unto you.
Yes. Yeah, so this is what the Lord devotee wants. Unmotivated, undirected devotional service. Any other questions, reflections, thoughts?
Reflections, we could do that.
Reflections, yes.
Reflections.
Anything?
Actually, I have one more question. It was mentioned about some incarnation that I think Nechmi was reading, which that is,
yeah.
and this incarnation was preaching about impersonalism. I don't know anything about this.
Then maybe you can read part of it.
I mean, just.
I mean, if you don't know that, you should read, you should research about it. Right? If someone would like to explain after the class, because that would be a broad topic, it's a whole incarnation that we don't know about, right? So it's better if we can. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to offend you, sorry.
You already offended him. You should fall down at his feet.
I'll do it after the class. I think I had something to say. So today morning this incident happened with Mama Prabhu. So we were there, like I was there, Divanshu was there, and the devotees we were there. So Prabhu was bleeding like anything. And still he was not thinking of himself.